Hey guys, welcome back. It's Big Brian here from SLCAudio, and in this video today, we're going to cover the art of reamping, part 2, actually reamping. In part 1, we showed you how to use a DI to capture a signal into your DAW. Now we're going to lay out how to reamp. So, from time to time, the question comes up, active, passive. We covered that in the last video with the DI boxes, but guess what? Active, passive with the reampers as well. And what does that mean? Well, it means that one requires power and the other one doesn't. What does that do to your signal? Well, that's what we want to find out today. So we're going to use the active circuit and the passive circuit. Now, something just to be said really quick about the passive circuit, the John Cunaberti original design. So this thing has a lot of history to it. Both of these pieces are really excellent pieces, but we're gonna get you the sonic differences in them today. Let's take a look at how we're gonna go actually about in the process of reamping. What I'm about to do here is I've got to route Pro Tools so that it's sending the DI out of Pro Tools and into my amp. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch my view here. I'm gonna come over to the DI track right here, which we're gonna change the color on. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this output set up for my system, B5. So now you can see that this is routed out B5. I'm gonna bring it back in through my microphone, and my microphone is hooked up onto the input here of B2. So we're going out this channel B5 into B2. I'm gonna mute the original track, and what we're going to do now is we're going to listen through the amplifier and play this back. Now, one of the things you might want to do, and in fact I very highly recommend you doing this, I'm going to come out here and create a tone. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to push Control, Shift, Option, and 3 at the same time, and I'm going to render a 1 kilohertz tone. That is going to play at the beginning of my reamping, so that I can easily line up my guitar with the new signal later. So what I'm doing now is I have my amp on and I'm ready to record. My signal, the DI signal, is gonna come out here. It's gonna go out through my patch bay into the amp, and then it's gonna come back in on the microphone into the API right over here. So when we hit record, you'll be able to see that. Once I have this recorded into Pro Tools, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I've maintained the same positioning in my track as the new recorded one. So the reason that we stuck the tone in at the beginning of this is you can see that between here and here there's a slight delay. The first waveform right there where we have that zero crossing, I'm going to cut it and then I'm going to snap that back. And what that did is effectively I've lined up my guitars so that I'm not out of timing. Now, if we go back in here, we can see that these signals are actually in fact out of phase. So at that point, I can do a process with Audio Suite, invert, and I can render the phase inversion. And now we can see that those are phase aligned. So now we're going to go back and record the same signal using the JCR reamper, following the same process. And now that those are lined up, we've successfully reamped. But let's now go ahead and take a look at the other track that we recorded with the active pickups on the guitar and the passive DI, and we're going to run the test through both those DI boxes again, the X amp and the JCR, so that we can make sure that we got the best tone possible. Alright, so now let's go ahead and pick that signal up again through the X amp. Alright, now that we got that captured, you guys have been able to hear what it sounds like. That's awesome. However, there is one problem left that we have left to address, but we're going to address that in the next video, and that is that we had a ground issue. And so what does grounding do and how do we fix it? That's what part 3 is going to be about. I want to quickly say thanks to Radial Engineering for sending out this equipment and letting us teach you guys how to reamp through it. I'm Big Brian from SLCAudio. Make sure to catch us next time.